Client came in, he was like, listen, I have an SVJ, I have this 765, the 765 sucks, it doesn't sound that great, it's complete stock. I want this to be the craziest 765 in Dubai. Alright, so this is a car that's rolled in from Qatar. We've done our standard stage 2 plus on it, so that's injectors, downpipes, inlets, SAI delete, ISG delete. We also added a wave track diff in there, downpipes, inlets, air filters. So now the engine's back in, all of the mods are fitted to the car. We've road tested it, scrubbed it down, snagged it, all seems sweet. Now we have all of our map slots here on the car. So on this car we've got 7 slots. So the 7 slots being, starting off on slot 1, stock 1 is stock calibration, so that's your 720 horsepower. Slot 2 is 95 octane, slot 3 is 95 octane with pops and bangs. Slot 4 is 98 octane, slot 5 is 98 octane with pops and bangs. Slot 6 is E99, pure ethanol. And slot 7 is E99 with pops and bangs. So we have all these different map slots, which means that you never need to plug a laptop into the car to change the type of fuel you're going to be running. But yeah, you can change the maps on the fly using the cruise control stick here. And yeah, it means you never need to come and see me to change the maps, or you never need to plug your laptop in to change the maps. It's nice and easy. So we're setting this car up for 3 different fuels, 98, 95 and ethanol, pure ethanol. It's always really difficult setting a car up for 3 different fuels because you need to start off on the weakest one and you need to leave just enough in the fuel tank to, you know, do however many pulls you need to do and then add in more fuel. So for example, on this car we started off with 15 litres of 95 octane, did a couple of hits, set up on 95, moved on to 98, but we only used up say 8 litres or 5 litres of 95, which meant there was still 95 in there. So now we've mixed the 98 in there with the 95. So we've ended up with an octane that's between 95 and 98, right? It's not pure 98 and it's not pure 95. So unfortunately, the engine is knocking. It knocks due to not enough octane in the fuel. It's a bit frustrating because we need to balance it in a way that we use up the fuel so that we can move on to the next fuel. But yeah, this is a nice showcase of how the engine safeties work. You can see that as we approached 6,500 RPM, the engine started picking up knock. So you can see these are the knock monitors on the engine, and 0 knock should be a straight line here, and if the engine starts knocking you'll see corrections, right? So what that does is the ECU pulls ignition timing out of that cylinder. A stock ECU will pull out up to 12 degrees of ignition timing, but when a manufacturer like McLaren set up a stock engine calibration for the McLarens, they'll set it up in a way where the engine doesn't knock at all, right? So they run it so rich, they run very conservative ignition timing so that in 99.9% of conditions, the engine doesn't knock unless there's something wrong. Again, when we tune a car, we want to ensure that the engine stays far away from knock, not only on pump gas, but also on ethanol. That is the key to making an engine live. We are now pouring in ethanol, E99. This is 99.9% ethanol, and the other 0.1% is air. Who knows? They don't really disclose it on the SDS. Opa. we've now wrapped this build up. 950 wheel. We have one small more tweak to make on the car. It was pretty heat soaked last night. Unfortunately, in Dubai summer, you get one pull and you need to wait an hour. So it's really difficult to custom tune cars. So yes, this is running 700 foot-pounds on a stock engine, but again, we're running ethanol, we're running at 0.73 lambda, we are running ignition MBT, but we believe we can make it live because it's running super rich, it's going to be knock free, and yeah, this is how you make an engine last. This car will be racing in a bit of half mile later on this year, so I'm super excited for that. We've cooled the car down overnight. I've made one more tweak to the calibration. I think we'll do one more hit, see what it makes. Maybe you can crack, you know, 970 wheel with a bit less heat soak. But again, in this DA, even if you put temperature aside, it's really difficult to make power. You know, this car in the winter is an easy 1,000 wheel horsepower car. But yeah, I'm really happy with how much power it's made on E99, and at such a rich lambda, like 0.73 lambda, it's super rich, you know. So it just goes to show, like alcohols, the further away you move from stoic, you don't lose as much power as you would on a gasoline. Running a gasoline car at 0.73 on the same setup, you would not make anywhere near 950 wheel. I think it'd be closer to like 8670, 880 wheel, the same lambda, same ignition. Alright, wrapping this up, it's now on its final map slot. 962 wheel, that's still with 45-degree intake air temps. So in the winter it will do a little bit better. But really happy with this build. Stock engine, 1,000 wheel horsepower, ethanol build.
Pull up in a hot top, it's a drop top. Told you we be multi-millionaires, my line. She know I do not care for no press on my mind. The federal skeleton in my wrist at crime time.
Okay, so we tune a lot of McLarens, obviously. That means we get to see almost everything, you know. Obviously, you saw that the car made good power, 800 wheel. That's kind of where it should be, but that's only the peak headline number. That number at the top of the screen doesn't tell you how it's running at 2,000 RPM, 3,000 RPM, 4,000 RPM. What does it show you that is the data logs. So with the M-Tuner suite, it allows us to data log all of the sensors on the car at 100 hertz. After checking the data logs on this car, we can see that it runs a little bit lean at 2,000 RPM. So you see there, basically your orange and pink lines here are your short-term fuel trims. This is 0, this is 25, and if it goes down, it's minus 25, right? 1.25 would mean that it's adding 25% fuel. 1.0 means it's adding no fuel. And if you saw 0.75, that would mean that it's removing 25% of fuel. So you want these, you want the fuel trims to be as close to 0 as possible, right? So as you can see here at 2200 RPM, it's adding 20% of fuel, 23% on bank 2 and 18% on bank 1. That means that it's running lean in that area. Okay, so I'll bring up a previous log here. You can see that the purple line is your fuel pressure measured, and the yellow line is the fuel pressure that's requested from the ECU. You can see as it approaches red line, the fuel pressure dips a bit, comes back, and then it dips a bit. That's just classic sign of a failing fuel pump control module. So we're going to change that, and we're also going to change the fuel pressure dampers on the fuel rail. The fuel pressure dampers are little rubber diaphragms with a spring behind them that smoothen out the fuel pressure oscillations inside the fuel rail. So sometimes when the rubber diaphragm fails, it allows more oscillations into the fuel pressure rail, and it causes the car to go lean in certain areas of the RPM. So we're going to swap both of them out and rerun to see if that solves the issue. Another 765 LT, white on white, awesome. It's very bold to go for this color combination, but I actually love it. This one's gonna be going stage 3, so we're gonna rip the engine out. We're gonna stick some rods in there, some other bits and bobs, and yeah, custom tune it.
All we had was dark times, walking on the sand line, fading down, going up, coming down. Using up my 9 lives, justify the goodbyes. Picture this, looking for a debris. Life was eating me alive. The devil's got an appetite. I'm wishing for another try, another try, another try. Oh, I stopped running to the grave, oh baby, just to live another day. No maybes, I've got everything to lose. I'm staying. I'm the only one who's gonna save me. I stopped running to the grave. I stopped running to the grave, oh baby. I stopped running to the grave. I stopped running to the grave, oh baby. Now I'm seeing options and I wanna opt in. Everything's clearing up, I can see.
You know what the problem is? The problem is, it's 50 degrees outside, so none of the cars want to start. So now, using this, the M tuner, we're gonna see what's wrong with the car. It's pretty normal to run into snags and builds like this. Client came in with this and was like, I had my car on a dyno at the time. We were testing the methanol, one of the fuel pump controllers, and he was like, listen, I have an SVJ, I have this 765, the 765 sucks, it doesn't sound that great, it's complete stock. I want this to be the craziest 765 in Dubai. So I was like, okay, say no more. He wasn't too fussed about the power, but he did want it to be crazy. We are gonna make it crazy, so we needed a fully built engine for that. Injectors, downpipes, inlets, air filters, all the usual reliability stuff, SAI delete. It's got a wave track LSD in there as well for a bit more grip. And more or less it. We're gonna tune it on pump gasoline and E99. Pump gas, it'll make around 850 to 870 wheel, and on E99 it will make a touch over 1,000. So this will be a really nice street car package. So obviously after an engine build you always end up with loads of faults. So we're gonna hit clear there. Okay, so we've got throttle position sensor, intake, throttle body, that's ISG, and injector fault. Okay, so 5, 6, 7, 8, which is bank 2. Check the wiring room on bank 2. So that's it. I mean, we've done so many of these builds that, you know, we're human. We still sometimes forget to plug things in. The main thing about being able to do a build is not, you know, when things go right, because things go wrong sometimes. Sometimes things happen and it takes quite a bit of diagnosis to understand what the problem is. Diagnostics is the hard part, you know, actually being able to look at all of these numbers, being able to look at a data log, and being able to see what's correct and what's not. Just quickly looking over this, so straight away you can see the short-term fuel trims are around 1.15, 1.2. That means the engine is adding 20% fuel to the base fuel model, right? That means the engine is running a little bit lean. We're gonna keep an eye on that, just in case we need to adjust the base fueling model, right? The fuel trims can be a little bit wacky on a fresh engine build, so it's not something we will tweak right away, but we'll keep an eye on it. Another thing on a fresh build you want to watch out for is your intake cams and your exhaust cams, right? To make sure they're within spec. It's pretty normal to start up a McLaren engine on a fresh build and for the intake cams and the exhaust cams to be out of spec. As the oil, you know, circulates through the system, goes through the solenoids, heats up a little bit, they do get into spec pretty quickly. And lastly, engine roughness. Engine roughness is your misfire monitor. But yeah, it seems more or less good. There's obviously fault codes here for throttle body adaptations. Throttle body adaptations happen when you lock the car, a couple of minutes, unlock it, and it does a throttle body adaptation on every startup, which it will do once we lock it. But that's not a concern right now. But yeah, you see here, the intake cams, now just me speaking the last 1 minute or so, the bank 2 was at 18 degrees, the request was 15, but now they've, as the oil is warmed up a little, it's circulating through the system, they're now in spec. Same with the exhaust cam, you can see request is 11, the actual measured is 13. as the oil warms up a little bit, it will get into spec. Again, for running the engine in, it's genuinely just going to be a case of checking all the fluids on the car, making sure there's no leaks, making sure all the hardware on the car is happy, and moving it straight to the dyno. We don't excessively idle the cars too much before they hit the dyno. We like for the engine to hit peak torque as soon as possible. That's the way we bet our engines in. So just wrap this one up. Just road tested this. Oh sweet. We've got a little snag list, so I always personally road test the cars before handing back to the client. Set them up, set all the settings up. There's a lot of small things on a McLaren that need to be set up correctly in order to get the best driving experience from the car. Make a snag list and then go through it. So we're gonna snag the car now, go through the list, and then we'll move it to the dyno and begin tuning. We'll be tuning this one on 98 and pure ethanol, so E99. On pure ethanol it will be around 1000 to 1050, and on pump 98 it will be around 850 to 870 wheel. So good numbers. Yeah, it will be a riot.
I've got everything to lose, I'm staying. I'm the only one who's going.
Wrapped this one up last night. This is a fully built engine with stock turbos. It made over 1000 wheel last night, but things were getting pretty toasty. So the car's cooler this morning. We're gonna do a final hit, take it off the dyno, and hand it back to the client. We can get really funky with the engine because it's built, we can, run insane amounts of cylinder pressure without, hurting the engine. Whereas on a stock engine, when people ask us for crazy things, we don't do it because you need to be really, really careful tuning a stock engine. Believe it or not, it's easier to tune a built engine than it is to tune a stock engine, because a stock engine has zero room for error, whereas a built engine you can get away with a lot. It's very forgiving, whereas a stock engine has no room for forgiveness. So I'm going to flash the final map slot file onto the car. When we're tuning them, we don't merge all the maps, right? We do the 98 slots and we bump it up in increments with ignition, boost, and set the fueling up. And then we do the ethanol file, or the ethanol files, and we bump things up in increments. Once everything's all done and we're happy with the different map slots, we turn it into one file, and we're able to flash that onto the ECU. So this car will have 5 slots: stock power, 98 octane with pops, ethanol, and then ethanol with pops. It means that the owner of the car can flick through the maps, change the fuels at home without ever having to come see us. This morning, unfortunately, we've lost about 10-20 horsepower just due to the atmospheric conditions, something that we have no control over. But yeah, car's pretty consistent. 1000 horsepower car being within 20 to 30 horsepower is really consistent when you're comparing it from daytime to nighttime. If we did a hit first thing in the morning, say 6-7 a.m., it would make more power than 2-3 a.m. when we're usually tuning.